I want to share something very exciting with you. Um, the heavens declare the glory of God. Just as in the Bible, the Chinese believe that God uses the heavenly bodies to send messages to men. Now, this is not astrology. In the astrology believes that the stars and the moons and the movement control our lives. So this is not a matter of control, but this is a matter of communication. Because even in the Bible, we know that like in Psalm 19, the heavens declare the glory of God, day by day, it sends out his speech. So the God who flung the stars into space would also use them to communicate messages to us. And usually, now this is another difference between astrology and what I'm talking about here. Astrology is about my personal well-being or personal fortune, whereas these extra phenomena are for the people. All right, a major event, it's not a personal thing. So the Chinese were astute student of the skies. Every dynasty would have a team, and during the Ming Dynasty, they had 14 officials, 14 observing every night the movements of the stars and all, and they write them down, and it's all recorded in Chinese history, and they interpreted them. You will find some interpretation to be quite amazing. So this was one event that they recorded and interpreted in the second month of the second year. The comet was out of Altair for more than 70 days. It is said comets appear to signify the old being replaced by the new. Altair, the sun, the moon, and the five stars are in movement to signify the beginning of a new epoch, the beginning of a new year, a new month, and a new day. The appearance of this comet undoubtedly symbolizes change. The extended appearance of this comet indicates that this is of great importance. This is the original Chinese recorded in the Han Dynasty. And then in the second year of Jianping, all right, this is another reference to the same event. And this is the interpretation, all right? It talks about perfect sacrifice. So it talks about a new beginning and a sacrifice. Now, this observation correspond with the star in the east in the Bible. And we all know that it signifies the coming of Jesus. Of course, that will be a new epoch, it's a new season. And also that he came to sacrifice himself. Now, interestingly, now that the star early on appeared for 70 days, but then 13 months later, another phenomenon was recorded. It was recorded on the Jiayu day of the third month or the third year of Jianping. There appeared to be a bold star in Aquila. Now, this corresponds to the star at Bethlehem. Now, you read the Bible, actually there were two stars, right? We know that the wise men first saw the star and they came. But after they arrived in Jerusalem, they couldn't see the star. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to ask and went to see King Herod. So the Chinese say that it appeared for 70 days and it disappeared. But then 13 months later, another star appeared. And this is the star of Bethlehem. And I think this is the reason why King Herod talked to the wise men and discovered that it was more than a year ago that he first saw it. So he decided to kill the children 2 years and under. So there is a reason for that. And then finally, in the interest of time, I'm going quickly here. 30 over years later, the Bible recorded on the day of the cross, it was about the 6th hour, the darkness fell. 6th hour is about noon, over the whole land until the 9th hour, because the sun was obscured. And the veil of the temple was torn in two, and Jesus crying out with a loud voice said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last. Did the Chinese see it and record it? Yes, of course, the Chinese did. In the day of Gui Hai, the last day of the month, this was 33 years later than the phenomena that was recorded earlier, the sun was eclipsed or shrouded. The emperor avoided entering the throne room, withheld all military activities, and did not handle official business for 5 days, and he made an official announcement proclaiming that my poor character has caused this calamity, that the sun and the moon will veil. I'm fearful and trembling. What else can I say? Anyone who presents a memorial is not allowed to mention the word holy. This is the original Chinese. And then there were other commentaries and response to this event. On the 4th month, on the day of Renwu, the imperial edict reads, yin and yang have mistakenly switched, referring to that event, and the sun and the moon were eclipsed. Now here, eclipse means covered up. The sins of all the people are now on one man. The emperor proclaims pardon to all under heaven. Now, wouldn't this be a perfect commentary on the day of the cross? Wouldn't this be what happened in Jerusalem? That the sins of the world are now on one man, on Jesus. Now, even more interestingly, another commentator, Qian Tan Ba, said eclipse on the day of Gui Hai means that the man from heaven dies. Very interestingly, if you understand Chinese, this word for death, Pen, it's only a reference to the king or the emperor. All right, people die, 死, but the emperor dies, it's Peng. So isn't Jesus the Tianren, the man from heaven? Tianren meaning heavenly man. That actually means as well as God and man. He is the true God-man. And that the Chinese understood that shrouding of the sun and the moon reference that the heavenly man dies, and that heavenly man was a king, because the word they use for death refers to the king. So this is amazing. And if you ask me how do they know, I do not know how, but they practice this for a few thousand years. The knowledge is lost to us, but they received the prophetic word, and they understand the prophecy, and they were able to decipher them and interpret them for us. So anyway,